Mm. G'day, people. Artie Farty here. Sorry I'm late. Can everybody hear me all right? Yeah, I'm awake, Jim. I had a bit of a disaster here. Been trying to. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'm a mug. Yeah, just trying to. Okay, good. Okay, I had a bit of a accident here. Um, I had everything checked out this morning and last night and getting my OBS to work, and I've had a bit of a accident. So let me show you guys. I've got the sheep train and the turntable. Something went wrong with my automation. Oh, not again. Oh, this is becoming a joke. Sorry about this. Let me stop everything. Just give me a second, folks. I'll change rooms. This is getting beyond a joke now. Okay, good. All right. Okay. I'll get everything running again. Just let me shut these trains down. The sound, anyway. I'm going to say a quick hello to everybody here. Who do I have in my chats? I have. G'day, Jean Ricard. How are you? And I've got Jim, Mike B. Nice to see you. Bernard, nice to see you. Hey, Scott, great to see you in here again. Who else do I have? Anthony, how are you? Man, it's hard to find good help these days. You know, it's like, yeah, yeah. You know what it's like, guys. Who else do I have here? Joe Sheen. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Thomas, Split Rock. Excuse me. How you going? And yeah, that's about all the people that I can see at the moment. Hey, Gary, how are you? Welcome on, mate. Guess what? I have sunshine down here today. And hope it's going to stay like that for a few days so things can start drying up and I can get out and about a bit. I'm been. Yeah, let me just get the other thing on. I've done a little bit on the layout this week. I end up putting another 5 BD20s in on the layout. Dealt with my automation. Let me see if I can change the. Here we go. You can have a look at. You guys can watch to see how the train automation is working. I've actually got 2 trains running automatically. One's in the turntable. I'm going to fix that up in a minute. G'day, Dan. How are you? Hey, Shane. Nice to see you up this time in the morning. And maybe I better add him up since he was in first. And Dr. Seuss has come in last again. Hey, Grandpa Rails, how are you? Yeah, I've been having a tiny little issue with my block detector with the train automation program. Couple of spots is giving me a false trigger, and I think it's got to do with my wiring. So after going underneath and having a look, I think I'm going to have to modify my wiring just slightly. Which would be, I think I just have a drama. No. So it's going to be a job to do before I go away and before my ops. So, yeah. And how are you, Jean and Anthony?
Well, I'm fine. I'm doing a laid back session here tonight. As you can see, I'm in my cozy chair in my living room and just watching your stream from 16,000 miles away. So,
Yeah, well, it's fun. Well, it's funny you say that, Jean, because Anthony and most of these other people, except for Creepy, they're about the same distance. So you and me, we can work as a team. We can crush them. You can get them from the east, and I'll get them from the west.
Yeah. We are basically making a pinching maneuver.
Yeah,
so that can take Anthony from both sides.
Yeah, we'll make him the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah.
Yes, Anthony.
I didn't sign up for that. I mean, I don't like the idea of being taken from either side. I don't know what you guys have been doing lately, but I don't play on that side of the street. This sounds like indoctrination on the first day of prison. Hey, Bubba, you take him from one side, I'll take him from the other.
Yeah, of course. You deserve it.
You say you're the outsider. We're the outsiders. We're coming in, and we're going to come in from both sides. One from the Atlantic,
but if you're coming in from both
Pacific.
sides, that makes you insiders. That sounds painful.
Won't be painful for us.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Okay. I'm going to try to fix up my error. Let me see if I can bring this up. What I've actually happened is, let me see. Yeah, let me share my desktop. I haven't got the camera here, but what's happened on the automation, one of the trains that I've got here,
I got one for you too, Anthony.
okay, I'll show you guys what's going on here. No, that don't want to work.
Maybe
That
it
don't
should
want to
just
work.
be a pincher.
Okay, it doesn't want to work.
I think
All
I
right,
logged
let
into
me
the
go
wrong
this way.
screen.
Okay,
That's
sorry guys.
That's
Okay, this is my
interesting.
schematics. That's my schematics on my train operation. Now, where the error has happened is if you guys have a look where that train is on that blank spot where it's got 7002, what's happened is the train, that was its last known spot, but to the right of it, it's a blank pink spot where the actual train was. So what I'm going to do with her is I'm going to terminate it.
We had 13 people at one point. It quickly did.
And remove it from there and get another one going automatically. Let's see, how am I going to do this? Okay, so what I do is I'll just click and highlight on 7002. Where are you? 7002. I'm going to stop it from, I'm going to terminate its run when it lets me do it. Terminate its run. Come on. Don't play up now. You're working fine last night. So now what I've got to do is I've got to remove it out of that block. And I'm going to put it where it's supposed to be. So I just click on that block, highlight the train, and just drag it across. Like so. Now I am going to use 7006 in the automation. I'm going to adjust its rules for spontaneous running. So I've got rules for spontaneous running. And it's got reverse automatically, reverses after stopping, which is 1. So that means it's going to run continuously. Without stopping. So I'll fire her up. And I'll change my screen. And now I actually have 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 engines running at the moment, 3 trains running at once. I might actually, should I be game and go full? Hey Ethan, how are you? Should I be game and go 4 trains?
Yeah, do it.
All right. So my 4th one, if you see on my top left-hand screen, I'll have the 4th one going up on the left-hand corner. So what happens here is, let me change the screen again. This is called spontaneous. A bit more advanced than what Heath runs. But what it does, it will actually indicate the block that's clear, the routes and everything else. So I'm going to check see what it's doing with its driving rules. Spontaneous, that's got the same. So I'm going to set it off as well. So now the computer is actually operating the layout automatically. So there you go. I've got actually 4 trains running totally by themselves. Okay, so no one can complain now that I don't have trains running.
Exactly.
Hey, Roy, how you doing? Yeah.
But
Yeah,
don't you
so
have some kind of, Archie, don't you have some kind of challenge by only having 2 tracks on the far left side of the layout that you can go to and go from?
okay. What happens is I'll show you guys a screen. So what happens is I've got my main yard. Um, that's my this is my main yard here. So I've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got about six. Yeah, 6 rooms that comes out of the freight yard. Okay.
Yeah.
I can have a more challenging where I can actually do some switching, but I haven't got that far advanced into it yet. But when the train comes out of here, out of this yard here, it goes into a single track and it comes into the station. I've got the passenger train sitting and waiting on the platform, and the freight train's going to go into the siding. So the passenger train's going to wait until that's clear of the section. Switches the points. There it goes. Okay, it's going full speed backwards, but I've got that one adjusted for now. So
we could,
but it can't. I can go on.
we could basically say that
Go
your
on.
train is one step further in development than Anthony's, because you can go Steuerwagen first.
Yeah, yeah. But mine can go either direction.
Yeah.
They
I
stop
will
and
just
go
ignore
reverse.
that glib comment, Jean Ricard.
And then
I
when
will
they
just
get, and
ignore
then when
that
they stop in
completely.
reverse, they go forward.
Jean is just a Danish bully.
But
That Viking blood hasn't left him yet.
So now I've got to work out. I've got to find out why there's an error on that other track where it's actually not tracking the train properly. Eventually, what I'm going to do is, once I expand the layout, the automation will be basically running my passenger trains. So the trains will be running on a schedule. They'll stop at certain stations to let the poor passengers off. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a train
And
running.
then, yeah. And then, hey, Nathan, how are you? And then eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to work on the operations that we have here where the freight trains actually got to work in between the passenger trains. So once I make the freight train up with the automation, I can actually get it to run to a certain spot and it'll actually feed itself in between the passenger trains. So that's what my intentions are going to be, but I don't think it's going to happen in the future because I I'm going in for an operation when I return back from the US on the 23rd on my right shoulder. It's going to be rotator cuff and doing up. I've got about 6 tears up in here, right up in this part here. And the bicep cord that's going in there is also in this part of the arm here is giving me a problem. So that's going to put me out of action about 4 or 5 months. So for the time being, I'm just going to experiment with what I've got here. Hey,
Of
MS
course.
Hunter, how are you? I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Yeah. So that's what the go is with me at the moment. So there's not going to be really that much construction. I'm not going to have time for it because it's going to be a month now before I invade the US.
And Joe Rader, there is no such thing as being outdated. You can be more technical or more hands-on. There's no such thing as being outdated with the model train hobby. Some guys like the high-tech control. Some guys just like to do it by hand. There's no such thing as being outdated.
Well, exactly right. I mean, I like a little bit of technology and I like to play around with electronics. So that's why I'm going this way. However, the way I've got my layout set up, and this is a good thing to take note of, Joe. The way my layout's set up, if my computer fails, like it has already a few months ago where I didn't have my laptop, there's nothing stopping me from running my trains. Okay, I can't do automation, but there's nothing with DCC, there's nothing stopping me from running them. I can still go out and I can still have fun with it. And I did. Just do the old fashioned way. My switch is still electric. My switches are still electric. My signals I still got to work out. I'm going to be changing the signaling system around. That's one thing I will do before my op. Hello, TCD MRA Media. Welcome. I'm going to change it around because the NCE line that I've actually have had problems with the signaling. Okay, JMRI will use it. The train controller won't. But there's just way too many configurations, and I have actually had a lot of errors where it doesn't trigger properly. So I'm going to be switching that out, and while I'm in the US, I'm going to buy the Atlas block system, the block signaling, the components, because it can actually take the new LED signals that I've got, which NCEs won't. They will with a bit of messing around with wiring and that, but I just want to be able to follow that guy's note, be a little bit lazy, where just get the wires, hook it up, 2-3 step programming, and bang, it's working, it's going. So I'm just trying to make it easier for myself. Well, that's one thing about the Europeans. We might be lazy, but they do say the lazy are the best inventors out. Wouldn't you agree, Gene?
Yeah.
I put a lot of work into being lazy, so
Well,
it takes a lot of effort to be as lazy as I am.
Yeah, but I mean, the lazy people are the ones that come up with the best inventions.
Only to make their jobs easier, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but see, my system can be obviously used to do a lot more than I do with it. The reason I have the American digital control system is because it allows me, like you said, to be lazy, where I can run 6 trains, but I don't want the computer control. I do like the hands-on, but it allows me to run 6 controlled with set speeds and blah, blah, blah. And I can just watch them go rather than constantly adjusting each one. And it's, my Central Station 3 is designed to let you completely automate everything you do with JMRI, or train controller. You can do with the Central Station 3. I just don't go that far.
Well, the biggest reason I did go this automation way too, now that I've gone into this live streaming, I can let my trains run automatically,
right,
a little bit more advanced for the viewer's pleasure. I mean, I don't always run the train automation. When I'm on my own and having a run and having a bit of a fun day, I just use my throttle. But even as Nathan says, and this is one thing about DCC, even DC for that matter, you make it as complicated or as simple as you want it. And I just have another accident.
But
go ahead, Jean.
If you want to see a train control operated Märklin layout, you should go to the Danish channel Garage Spam.
Garage Spam.
Yeah. He's running a train control Gold Märklin layout with a CS3, just like Anthony, but combined with the train control Gold system, as you are running, as far as I remember, train control Silver. Isn't it correct?
Yeah, I'm running Silver.
Yeah.
But I will be when I rob the bank, when I get back, hopefully the next one won't collapse on me. I am going to upgrade to Gold. There's just so many different. Yeah, it works out about $200. Yeah, $260 Australian.
But Artie,
for
why
me,
upgrade?
Pardon?
Why upgrade before you are familiar with the Silver?
There is still a lot of options that are missing out of the Silver compared to the Gold.
Oh yeah, but get familiar with the one you have now before you spend more money on yet another. System.
I mean, I'm not going to buy it overnight. It'll probably be later on down the track. Probably more so when I start expanding. I mean, the Silver one's all right for now. I've got to learn this. The basics are still all the same, but the advanced features in the Gold is just a little bit more. What to say? It's more advanced.
You get more options. Yes.
Yeah,
of course.
And it makes it easier to set things up. I'm going to have a bit of a. Let me try to change my screen without upsetting the signal. Sorry, I've got to move the camera. So I've got to work out why I'm getting runaways. Now I've got 2 trains in the turntable ditch. For some reason,
but Artie, could you please show on the diagram where the turntable are, because it's very. I don't have a clear picture of where the turntable
Okay.
are compared.
Where you see my diagram here now
Yeah.
on the main screen, the turntable is to the right of the screen.
So basically, you do not have any detection on the turntable then.
No, because the turntable is not connected. But where my error is becoming is where you see the 7006. It hasn't tracked the train from that block into the right pink one that's blank. So
Yeah.
it's turned around and set the train to go, but it actually gave it false information of the direction.
Okay.
So now I've got to work out what's going on in here. And I've got a funny feeling it has something to do with what I've done with the wiring underneath when I put the other block detectors. Because where you see the yellow carriage, the two yellow carriages and there's a train underneath it, those are the two new block detectors that I actually put in place. And I say I'm having problems there somewhere. Turntable automation, I'm not really that too fussed about, but I would like to have it on the screen. You know, I like to have it on. I like to have it on the screen. For what do you call it? For my viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
Hey, David. And who knows, later on down the track, I mean, I need to buy the add-on from Warthus for the turntable to make it work so it can work automatically. Hey, John. How are you? So, I mean, still a learning curve. I mean, I can learn with a silver. I've got plenty of time. The gold, I won't have to worry too much until I really start expanding into it and got the track work laid down. And the features will be able to be added on later on down the track. But it can still use the current map and the current plans that I've got saved now, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. The longest and the hardest part of this system is getting your measurements right to do to have your train stopping automatically at a particular spot. Like at the train station, for example. Like here at the train station, when the train comes in, it's got a certain spot. So to have the train do that, you got to get your measurements right. Then you got to do your speed matching and braking profile of the engine, and that takes a lot of time. I've only done it on the trains that I've got out now. Now, let me see if I can get it into the yard. You can see it. I need another camera, but you can actually see it backing up slowly in through the shed at walking pace. That takes time to set the engines up. Yeah, it would be worthwhile at the end. But I've got over 200 odd engines to go through, which is going to take a lot of time.
Now, while Artie was looking the other way, we changed his regular coffee with Folger's instant coffee. Let's see if he notices the difference.
Nope. It's all right. I had someone put salt in my sugar, try to use it as a prank, and I'm going like, yeah, nah, that I made it look like there was nothing wrong with it. Backfired. I like to have. I've got the opportunity now to experiment, so I'll experiment with it. Now that I've found some problems.
Ooh, I love it, experimentation.
Yeah, I've found a bit of. Hey, Dwight, how are you? Now I know. Found some little issues with the wiring, so now I know how to plan my wiring in the future and how to do my blocks to adjust for this system, as well as adjusting it to what do you call it? A normal operation, like even with JMRI. I still use JMRI. Because it gets the signals working automatically, so I won't. But it won't work with train automation. Nathan, yes, I do have American stuff. I've got plenty of it. Yeah, I've got. Actually, they're all packed away. I've got them, but yeah, I've got 700 odd carriages and whatnot, and I could say about 70% of my rolling stock is actually American. 28% is Australian and 2% is European. And 2% is the stuff that I still got from my childhood days.
Okay.
But they're buried right down the bottom because when we had that challenge that this guy put on, I still haven't been able to do it because I haven't been able to get to the engine because they're put right down on the bottom of everything else. Might be 2 years late, but hey, I'll still do it. Hey, Kyle, I still get it done. I'll still get it done, Anthony, eventually. Yeah. But yeah, the hardest thing is just trying to get under and doing the work. Hey Randall, didn't see you since sneak in. But when I put the block detectors in the other night down underneath, I was just in so much pain and agony when I got back out from underneath it, from down here and all the way up in the neck. It just knocked me out for 2 days, and it's like now I've got to get back underneath it, which I will do sometime during the week, and just sort out the wiring and fix up the error.
But Archie,
Yeah.
why are you placing the electronics underneath the layout? Wouldn't it be much easier to have it at the front of the table, on a board in front of the table, so that you had easy access to the different components of the electronics and just have the wires running to the tracks?
Yeah, well, the only thing that I've got actually underneath is the little BD20s, right? All the other components is I just moved the screen, is on the board here.
Okay, that makes sense because
Yeah.
I think when
But
you're doing,
Go ahead.
when
getting underneath and doing the wiring. But now what I'm going to do is, with all my feeders, I'm going to bring it down to that board and just tie it up a little bit. Because I did want to put it in one spot, but with the BD20s, you loop them around. And I had 2 spots where I connect the feeder wires. One rod is just behind that board.
Yes.
Then I have another one up in the far corner for the 1, 2. Put the 2 tracks on the other side there, and the 2 switches.
Yeah.
Now, somewhere between there and here,
Yeah.
there's a conflict with the wiring. So what I'm still able to, what I'm going to do is all my feeds with my block detectors are in. It's not going to be hard to do because the wires are there. I'm just going to bring it all around up to that wooden panel. So if anything ever goes wrong, I can just, because that little block, that little timber plate there, that's going to fold up underneath. So if anything ever goes wrong, I can just go to that one panel to find the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to be the same with the next level 2 up here. You're just going to have one central point. So I don't have to go underneath the layout. I'll just go to one focal point. But it's just getting underneath there and just feeding the wires. That's the hard part for me at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Us Aussies, we're fighters. We keep fighting right to the last breath. Not like
I have
some.
no doubt of it.
We just get on with it.
But this is a very good example of why Anthony has a somewhat easier system to operate with, because the one track, the feeder track is in the middle of his tracks, and you have the return tracks, so you don't have any conflicts in points and so on. You are never in doubt of what wire you are going to put on the track in what position.
Yeah. And Anthony's got a good system. It's a straightforward, simple, basic system, which people can learn off it. Yes,
now
Anthony.
that is not correct. I do not have a simple system. I use it simply. There's a difference. My system is as advanced as anything you guys want to go out and buy if you want to make it advanced. I use it at simple. But again, I don't have to drive bus right. You guys that have seen my big layout here, my train table here, with 6 trains running, 11, 6 lanes, 5 parking lanes. I have one power line because of the AC, the flow of the current through the track. I have one power connection in the middle, and it runs everything plus the parking area over there. Although I did run a booster over there just to make sure it had power over there. But yeah, it is a it is a computer. I mean, the Central Station 3 is a computer. I just have it set up simply because I don't. Where you like the tech, I love watching the tech, but my goal is different than some people's goals. My goal has always been, I just want trains running in a circle. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. Some people need different. I won't say more or less. They just need different. And as long as I can have 6 trains running, and if there's a way I could do it and do 8 trains running, but I do have to have parking because, I need places to park my trains. And if I had more room, like someday that daughter of mine, if she moves out, that room straight behind me with that little poster on it, I have a closet over here, and I go right through that closet and I go into that room, and I will have a big 10, 15 lane parking area eventually someday. But I've got a daughter that would have to move out before I could do that.
I told you, the excavator's already on its way. I've got the big 75 tonner on its way over. We'll dig out the basement in about 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't think my neighbors would be happy about that.
We'll just tell them it's going to be a shared wine cellar.
They're police. I don't know if they'd go for that either.
My
neighbors on both sides are police officers.
Oh, look, there's always a way to butter them up. There's always a way to butter them up.
Joyce and I are the old. We're the old. I don't know what you want to call it. We're the old crows of the neighborhood. We've been in this neighborhood the longest now. Everybody else has long since moved out. We've been here 30 years, and there is nobody who's been in this neighborhood longer than us now. We're the old vets of the neighborhood.
So what you're trying to tell me, we can't put the music on full board because they're on shift work?
No, they're all younger. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to do anything somewhat illegal, yeah, they'd be the first responders.
Yeah.
Artie doesn't need to try. I try to get myself arrested all the time. I try to get myself fired, and I try to get myself arrested all the time.
Roy, stop giving away my game plan. But with what you just said, but going back on the layer, but what you were saying, Anthony, is what Nathan was saying. You make it as simple, as complicated as you want. Like, yeah, you have got an advanced system, but the way you're operating is in a simple way. You've got to wire it up simply. You've got to running around in circles. You don't have to go to this extent, like what, for example, like what I have. And yeah, you can jump in for a little bit, mate. Should we let him in?
Sure, why not? The more the merrier.
Yeah, let's just hope my bandwidth doesn't crash, but yeah, okay. Yeah, but you see, I still can go on a simple process with my, as I said,
right.
With mine, I can just go with my controller.
Right.
I don't need the computer. But as I said, I like to experiment with my electronics. I haven't blown anything up yet.
Hey guys,
I'm working on it.
Hey, Randall.
Actually, let me just answer Nathan Delay. He actually asked me a question, and I will answer it for him. How did I start the YouTube channel? You start off as watching videos and
Drug.
Yeah, what I was told I can make a fortune out of YouTube videos. He lied. No.
He said we could all get rich if we'd just follow his program.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what happened? What got me on it? Now, I still use it from time to time, Facebook, and there was certain groups that were in there, and people were saying to me, I should share my experience with my construction, because I've got some good people said that I had good ideas and whatnot, and there are some people in the US that kept on nudging and nudging and nudging, and some of the locals as well. And when I started doing the NCE for the mini panel and electronics on here, I came across Rick Bailey's channel. So if you guys want to blame anyone who got me in here, don't blame Heath, blame Rick. I bit the bullet. When I saw how he was doing certain things, I'm going, there's got to be an easy way to do this. And I did have an easy system. And I thought, let me share it. And that's how I got into it. And a few people liked the idea. And I had Rick promote me up. Then I had Heath. I had Gary. Oh, not Gary. Raybo Bell. Some of the others as well. And now I have this guy here next to me. And it's been encouragement. It's been a great encouragement to do it. and I'm enjoying it. It's giving me something different, especially with being stuck at home and not so much being. Yeah, we can blame Sparky. Yep. Okay, Joe. Yeah, Sparky gave me a little bit of encouragement as well. But with me being stuck at home, not because of that showstopper, but because of my injury, I had to find something else to do and entertain myself while I'm stuck at home because I couldn't travel out. I wasn't allowed to drive. So, doing this YouTube channel, I actually enjoy it. I'm actually been enjoying it.
Well, how I started my channel, we're going to kind of hit the Wayback Machine, go back to 2019, and I was at the Christmas display that we have every year at the West Plains Mall Railroad Club. At that time, it was at a place called the Harlem Museum, and we were there running trains, and I was sitting there filming it with my phone because I had brought some engines and cars there and was running them. And there was a lady standing next to me, and she saw me filming my trains and stuff, going around the layout. And she asked me, said, "Why don't you put that on YouTube?" And I thought, well, I could. I didn't even have a channel at the time, and I wasn't even sure how YouTube worked back then. I didn't know if you could upload videos for like free and all that stuff. And I asked her questions, said, "Oh yeah," said she did it all the time. So I thought, yeah, why not? I'll give it a whirl. And, the first two videos I posted were from the Christmas display from 2019. That was also the debut year for our current HO layout. Some of you probably know the story, but the original HO layout was just riddled with problems. Trains would derail, they would uncouple, the track work wasn't what you'd say real even. Of course, we were just learning as we went along, and when they built the current layout, they took what didn't work and made adjustments to this current layout. And of course, that's, like I said, that's the first two videos I ever posted was from that display, which debuted our new HO layout. So, if I think there is a video of the original layout, because Color 10 News came to the display that year and did a short news piece, and I actually have a DVD. I actually recorded it and put it on a DVD disc, and it does show the original HO layout at the time. You don't. It's just a quick shot of it, but you do see it. But the funny story was right after they left. That was when we had the coupler break on one of the freight cars. I had got greedy and put too many cars behind an engine, and some of the cars were still equipped. Some of these Athearn cars that were up towards the front still had McHenry couplers, and when the engine put the load on the cars, it snapped the couplers off the lead car. So that was pretty ugly. I'm glad they weren't there for that one. So, but yeah, I kind of went all over the place with that story. But yeah, that's basically how my YouTube channel started. Was back in 2019 when I filmed.
Well,
and really, all I was doing was just filming the videos for myself. I was just basically going to keep them as home movies, essentially. And like I said, the lady standing next to me asked me, said, "Why don't you just load them up to YouTube?" And I thought, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And so started the channel, and now here we are 2.5 years later. So
yeah, well, I'm slowly coming up to my 12 months. I think my 12 months is roughly about June, July this year. So yeah, I don't know if I should do anything special. Let me have a look. I'll just have a look when I first started my this actual channel itself. But it's going to be close. That end of June, I think it was, early July, is when I did my first, basically my first video. Let me just try to dig it up.
Nobody ever wants to know when I started my channel or how. They just want to know when will I end it.
Well, since you have reached about 110 or 12 shows, Anthony, we can just count back 112 weeks back, and then we know when it all started.
Actually, no, my channel was going a year and a half before that.
Oh, so you have 1.5 years with no numbers on your...
No, the only thing that's numbered is my live streams. Well, no, my Miracle shows were up. But yeah, my channel started November of 2018. Actually, I've been on YouTube since November or whatever of 2009. But my train channel started November of 2018.
Okay. So
it was stillborn. My channel was stillborn. It just, that's Presbyterianism. It just doesn't know it's dead.
Oh no.
We'll go according to this. Oh man, I'm coming up to I'm coming up to 12 months now since I've been 28th, be about what, 28th of May.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming up to 12 months. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to throw a party while I'm over in 28th of May is when I first started my channel. So I might have to have a party while I'm over in the US.
Well, you know the song already, "Party Like It's 1999."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll be down at Prince, West Virginia on the 28th, so gonna be camping up in the woods over there. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah. Shh! Don't tell him, Anthony, Timothy, Thomas. Sorry, don't tell him. Don't too much out. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've met a lot of great people in here too, which is good.
I've met a lot of great people on YouTube too. It's been awesome, the great people you meet. I've also met Jean Ricard, so that was nice, I guess.
Poor bugger.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that I'm not a YouTube man as such. I don't have the technology to do a show like your others, but I can participate in streams like this, and I try to haunt Mr. Dodge as much as I can on his streams.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knows it, and somehow I feel that he likes it as well.
Yeah. I mean,
yes, because everybody likes a hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that depends on what kind of hemorrhoid we're talking about.
Which
but
is
at
why
the
he's
end of
conveniently placed right below me.
Oh, we can move that around.
Fine, you can have the hemorrhoid now. Now, see, I want to go just slightly serious for this. Sean McGee just posted, it's a great community to be a part of, a lot of great people with many talents. And I totally agree with that. And at the same time, you know, if you watch a lot of channels, we all talk about what a great community we are. We're awesome. We're nice. We've got jerks and snobs and in our community, the rivet counters, we were just talking about this last week and a little bit with other stuff. The guys that come in and go, let me see who posted it. A friend of mine posted today where he was talking about his layout, and a guy came on his channel and commented on his video saying, that's not a model train. That's not a model. You don't do model trains. You have a train set because you're not based on something real. So it's a train set. It's not a model railroad. That's like, so this is the type of people that, regardless of big society, little society, we're still human. So all the foibles we have in our big global or communal world, we bring into model trains. Every community is great and has its idiots. And that's the one thing that, like I will talk about. There are things that that people can criticize, and I'll go like, you're right. But then there are things where people just want to be critical. Like, that's not a layout. That's that's a train set because you don't do what I do. The guys that, the guy that goes on his channel and says, I won't even watch a channel if they don't weather. Now he has the right to say that, but the fact that he feels the need to say that, that people who don't weather their trains are a waste, it's like, really? Come on, guys. So we do have our equal percentage of people who make the community less friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you got to know it all too. But there's another one here that who was it? This is another good saying here from Lee. People just don't understand creativity. I mean, I'm on the road all the time. Okay. Our rail network, especially on the East Coast, isn't as big. I mean, I go to a place, there is a place down the coast, it's called Ulladulla. And we've done roadworks in there, and I've done a lot of jobs down there, and I'm looking at this town. There's no trains in there. But my imagination goes, how would this look if we put a train through it? Where will the train line come? And that's all part of this hobby. I mean, you don't have to be prototypical. I mean, a painter, an artist, they don't paint every person exactly where they are. They put their own interpretation. Model railroading is the same. If you want to do your weathering, you do your weathering. If you don't want it, don't have to.
And I'll give you a great example of that, Artie. Look at Eric Brewman's Utah Belt Railway. That's one of the most legendary freelance railroads ever.
Exactly.
And it's not even a real railroad, yet it functions and operates like a real railroad. And something I read about it that I didn't even realize, that layout is straight analog. It's not DCC. Which makes it more impressive, I think.
Well, I think, whether you're digital or analog, which people nowadays say DCC versus DC, but whether you're digital or analog, I mean, the scenery and what you put on it will be the same. Now, how much control and the wiring underneath, again, is more that. But to go back to what Ian said here, because some people don't understand creativity, I might be misinterpreting what he's saying there, but there are people who aren't creative, but they're very complimentary to those who are. And there are people that are very creative who are kind of like, you're not as creative as me, therefore I look down my nose at you. I had a comment on my video I posted Wednesday, and this is from a longtime subscriber to my channel who does not speak English as a native language. So you always have to understand that there might be something in the translation when somebody is, let's say, using English. But let me see. Let me just read it real quick. You're going to hear a little noise here for a second. Yeah. Anthony, this video and the previous one amazed me, both for the quality of the stations as well as for you being a true master, which I never thought you were based on your layout, which always looks bare in most areas. You know, I never thought you were much of a master because there's nothing on your layout, but I put up a couple of videos where I showed me building. And I have always downplayed some things, but I've never said I was a bad modeler. I said when I was able to build before the nerve damage in my hands got too bad, that I was a pretty darn good builder because I had 20 years of building war game scenery, and somebody mentioned how war game scenery helped them. But that's kind of, the phrase backhanded compliment. I never knew because, well, I just assumed you didn't have any skill, but again, that might just be a case where English isn't their first language. But I mean, the gist of what they're saying is, yeah, I've got a big layout, nothing on it. But that doesn't mean I can't do it. And I'm always respectful to those. I mean, anybody here who's had me comment on your videos, I never say, oh, you should have done this instead. Well, and
kind of piggybacking off of that, Anthony, there was a guy that left a comment on my Alco PA1 review, the Walters Alco that I did the review on, and he said that I should leave the light on so we could see. And I'm not trying to make it sound like he's being a smart aleck saying that, because he's not wrong. The lighting where my layout is, it stinks. I mean, it's horrific. You have basically one light bulb that lights up the whole area where the layout is.
But it's because you can get it.
Well, see, the house was built back in the in the 40s, and it didn't get electricity until my dad was like 9 or 10 years old, and he's 82 now. So you can do the math. You're talking 72, 73 years. And they basically wired it up as cheap. I hate to use that term like that, but they basically wired it up with the bare minimum that you could do back in the day. Because back then, people didn't have a whole lot of money. My grandpa did stuff with horse and buggy, with horses most of the time back in those days.
And you didn't need a lot of energy.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, there's one light in each room of the house, and that's all you get. And there's there's a plug-in in the living room, a plug-in in the kitchen, and a plug-in in the bathroom. That's all you got. So that's basically how it functions. So I basically have to work with what I have.
Right.
And I also use the light on my phone, which is a big help. And when I shut the light off, it was basically to showcase the lighting effects of the locomotive, and kind of give it that nighttime feel. And there's a lot of people who actually enjoy that. So, but yeah, like I said, the guy that made the comment wasn't wrong, but at the same time, I do realize that I don't have great lighting. So,
I have the idea that some of those that make really great videos on YouTube, they actually build a studio. Very much, I wouldn't say that Anthony actually have built a studio, but you have brought a lot of cameras into your layout room, and you have a lot of lighting on your layout, so you get a lot of better pictures than, for example, when you look upon me that are sitting in this red glowing light that I'm sitting in here, and that's just because it's basically my cozy light in my living room, and not for actually videotaping.
Right.
But
red lights. We know what red lights are used for, Gene.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that my phone's not the greatest in the world at nighttime photography. I've I've tried taking pictures of it in the dark, and it does absolutely horrific. And there's a guy that works at Rail Crew. He showed me his phone and the pictures it took, and it literally looks like daytime. He said, I took those at night. And I said, that's at night? I said, I was like, boy, I got the wrong type of phone. And
yeah, well, this was all a gut job and remodeled by me to improve the lighting just when I started building a layout here. Well, the thing is, I don't even want to offer even suggestions on people's videos. Like sometimes they'll ask, what do you think I should do? 99 times out of 100, I won't even suggest, because if I'm not standing there touching it, seeing it, looking at it, I don't know that my suggestion would be appropriate. Now, some people can do that. They can look at it and say, hey, I've got 40 years experience. I've done this and what have you. But, you know, that's why when I have on my channel the rules for layouts, of course, rule 1 is your layout, do what you want. But, you know, my rule number 2 is don't offer advice unless it's asked for. You know, if somebody goes on their video and says, I'm having problems with this, does anybody know? Then, yeah, throw out your advice. But if somebody's posting a video, unless they say, hey, what do you guys think? You know, just say, hey, you know, good job, or that looks cool. I like what you did there. Hey, you got a cool train, or whatever. And I mean, that's just my personal attitude. Everybody's a little different. But again, we use that term rivet counters, and I've said this so many times. We watch channels with rivet counters who complain about rivet counters, and I see that all the time. I'm like, you're a rivet counter. Why are you complaining about rivet counters? You're a rivet counter.
And see, that's the difference. I'm not a rivet counter.
Right.
I could honestly care less if the handrails are a little bit thicker than what they should be, or if this isn't exactly to scale or whatever. I could honestly care less. Now, if I buy an engine and the handrails are warped all over the place and parts are falling off of everything, yeah, that's a problem. But as far as, you know, everything's got to be to scale. If it's not, you know, everything's junk. I mean, you know, that's not me. So,
yeah.
I think that
yeah.
sorry.
Go on, Gene.
I think that Barry Davis from the United Kingdom says it so very well when he ends the streams every time, because he says, let us just have fun
Yep.
and joy of our layouts. And
Let's
that
just
must
have
be
fun
the
and the
purpose
joy of our train.
having this hobby. And sometimes I feel a little bit bad when people are talking about the negativity in what they experience in their streams, because actually when I am talking to all your terrific guys and listening to what you are saying, I think we have a great community here, and we should be happy for the things that we experience with one another, instead of saying, oh yes, there are the rivet counters and they are the experts, and they say and tell us all that. Let us be joyful of what we are seeing. I'm enjoying artists trains running like I can see above him now, where his passenger train just left the station again. I think it's great, Artie, and that's what I like, and that's also why I come into the Anthony stream each Friday, is to see the trains running, because I have the same feeling as Anthony has when he says, I like to see my 6 trains running around in circles. And
yeah,
that is basically what they are doing. They are not changing lanes. They are not stopping at stations. They are just running, but it's for the joy of it.
and,
Let us be enjoying it.
and you know, all I have is just 2 loops running, and I get a kick out of it. I enjoy watching them run around the track. So, you know, there's no scenery, or just 2 Christmas trees on it, and that's about the only scenery there is. But it gets the job done. It's fun to sit out there and run trains, and
I look at when I was a kid. Okay, I wasn't able to do modelling like I do now. I used to use my Lego to make my stations and buildings, and they always changed every school holiday. And then I got into paper mache with chicken wire. That lasted all right for a while. Then I ended up finding out about plaster and the styrene and plaster. So I progressed over time. But we all have our own little abilities. Sometimes, okay, I might be guilty to a certain degree where I see someone doing something. I'm not criticizing what people are doing. Okay, that is one thing I will not criticize how a person's doing their work, because everyone's got their own ability and disability. I might give them a bit of a tip or bit of a direction, especially when you're seeing they seem to be struggling. And I just try an idea, because when you start doing something, you only focus at that point, and we all get it. Our minds just go blank, and we don't. I'm not criticizing that. Again, I'm not criticizing. Our minds go blank, and then we miss the picture. You know, some people might end up doing something where they're taking a long process of doing something. It's like, okay, it's nice. How about doing it a little bit of another way? Just not giving them advice, just giving them an option.
Right.
I'm not
Oh,
experienced.
and there are differences. There are clearly differences on, saying, hey, if somebody is, again, if somebody's struggling in their video and they're telling you, hey, I'm struggling with this or what have you, and I'm having a problem with this, then, people are going to say, did you do this? But again, I brought it up a bit last week, and I talked a little bit about it on one of my live streams, is Graham Folston, Lakeside from the UK, has one of the prettiest layouts and is one of the best builders, but he does things a certain way, and all the pros come in, you're doing it wrong. That's not how you do it. And he took so much crap, and he's got one of the best layouts on the internet. It's amazing what he builds, and he just wants to build this thing and enjoy his trains. But we all say, "Oh, you can ignore it," but there comes a point where you get a little tired of it. Everybody does. I mean, and like with and again, I talk about me because I only know me. There are certain things like when I do my comedy songs, especially when I'm the one singing. If people rip on that, I don't have any problem with it because I put myself up there to be ripped. I sang knowing how bad my voice was. That's why now Joyce sings most of them. But I fully expect it. But when you do get the real gritty hate comments or hate mail, sometimes they're funny. Like, who told you could sing? I was like, dude, did you read the introduction to the video where it says my voice is horrid? Sometimes there's the oblivious idiot, but to some degree, you put yourself out there. You do have to expect, even if you didn't want the criticism or people. But again, there's a line of people that are just, oh, that was kind of cool, or hey, you could get more space if you did this here, versus the guys that going, you did that wrong, and that's not how you do it. And I think you're the way you do that. And that's where we got to go back what Jean said about Barry Davis. It's just, enjoy your trains and let other people enjoy theirs. That's why, again, anybody knows when I comment, I'm not a hooray Henry where I just, oh, you're so awesome, you're so cool. But I'm not going to throw any negative criticism. I don't care if you got trains on the carpet. Do you have fun running your trains? That's all I care about. Do you have fun running your trains? And if you have fun, then I have fun watching you.
Who's that guy? I can't think of his name. Who's that guy that is an English modeler and he's got his trains running on that kid's play mat?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, it's no good for the engines. Okay, we know that. You get dust and fluff and everything else. I know, I get it. How many of us, especially the ones that have been playing with trains since they were childhoods, right? Wish that we had play mats like that. There's your town already made up on a play mat. I mean, I was bad. I used to, when I was a kid, I was bad. I used to collect paddle pop sticks, and I take over the lounge room. I make my whole series of streets and roads and everything else in the middle of the lounge room. It was like that for 2-3 weeks. So what did you do? You pulled his plug.
No, I'm still here, but I
okay.
just have to get off camera for a bit.
Yeah, but I mean,
and I'm still listening to all the wise words that are coming.
Yeah, but I love watching that. I mean, I had a stepson many years ago had exactly the same placemat, and I'm thinking, and how many times have I looked at that play mat and go, how does that rail system work on there? Can we actually make a layout on it? I love the idea. Mm-hmm. It's being creative. It's outside of the box. But I mean, my mum used to hate it when I used to get the paddle pop sticks and take over the lounge room and put the streets and highways and all these buildings over it. And of course, my train board used to be down the garage. And during the wintertime when it rained and whatnot, or school holidays when it rained, I couldn't go and play with it. So I had my Legos and I made myself makeshift Lego trains. Wasn't big. I mean, if you have a look what I made, you'd laugh at it, but hey, they were my trains. And I took over the lounge room. Then I went from the lounge room, dining room into the kitchen. I used the whole house. And some things haven't changed. But that's how I do it. Everyone's got their own ability.
Right.
Criticizing, constructive criticism, yes, you're right there, Dave. But I prefer just a suggestion how I see it, and everyone sees things differently, and it's like,
hey, Split Root, your modeling skills are way better than mine.
Well, moms can be your harshest critics, and your children.
Split Rock, I haven't had bad comments, but I mean, that is actually quite nasty and rude. I mean, what you have created is actually quite remarkable.
What do you mean you don't get nasty comments? I give you nasty comments all the time.
Hey, Anthony, I don't know if you watch this channel or not, but Rapido Trains, they I think they still do it, but they have these little videos they put together of the hate mail they get, and some of it is just so off the wall. If you have not seen it, you need to check that video out. I think you would get a kick out of it. There's literally one. I'm trying to think of the guy's name that runs it. Jason, is it Schron that runs Rapido? Somebody out there probably knows. Can correct me if I'm wrong, but he literally read this one comment, and I kid you not, it said the email he got said, "I slapped Grandpa because I like smacking Grandma." And I literally asked him, I said, "Did someone really write that to you?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "Someone actually put that in an email and sent it to him." He said, "That was not fake. That was not made up." I was like, good grief.
Yeah, I was that group that David from Cook River saying, I was part of that group too. So the majority of the members weren't too bad, and we get some of them, but there are some that they go, well, that's not right, this is not right. And I go, what's right, what's wrong? You always will find something. You'll always find something that's going to be close to what you model. I bottle my stuff and my rod, especially with American stuff. I do mine on the blind.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm doing my researching or when I go to the United States, it's like, well, hang on a minute, I've done this. On one of my small bedroom layout that I built, there was one scene on there, and I've taken a photograph of it. It's a shame I don't have the photograph. But the scene that I've taken off this scene that I've taken with that photo was almost identical. I don't know how many people have been there. Is Tweetsy Railroad in North Carolina. From a shot that was taken there, it almost looked identical. Was it? People would have said, no, that's not real. But hey, I made something out of the blind that's close to something that does exist. And I'm happy with it. If you don't like it, if you don't like what I do, sorry, there's the door. Use it.
And
or jump out the window.
The skip button or move on button is real easy to click. If you don't like the channel, it's real easy to. If you don't like the YouTube video you're watching, it's real easy to change it.
Yeah.
And of course, if people get to know me, they know besides Mile Rowing, I really enjoy watching anime. And over on the anime channels, you'll go through the comment section of the English dub stuff, and you'll read these comments. Well, I hate the dub; it stinks. And it's like, okay, but you're here watching the clip of the English dub, and you're complaining that it stinks when you could literally just not watch it and watch the original.
Well, that was my point that kind of set this all off, is that no matter what community you're in, whether it's a comic book group or a toy collectors group or an anime manga group or a model train group, there's a part of us where we all go, we're all so awesome, this group is so wonderful, but we really do have our sects, SECTS, and our divisions and our lines, people that can get along with everybody and people that are very much, this is my little clique. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that we do have our lines. We do reduce ourselves into smaller groups. And eventually you find channels you like, you find the channels you like to watch and people you like to watch. And maybe somebody links you to something new. When I got into model trains a couple of years ago, I started because I was doing German trains, 3-rail. I was watching all German channels. I speak fluent German, so it's not a problem. I watched the channels, but something was missing. I don't know what it was. And then one day I got linked to a UK channel, a guy named Hover Motion, who did German trains, but he talked in English. But the difference in how he set up his video, not that he was speaking English or anything else, because he still runs Central European, German, Austrian trains. It was just the way he presented it was very different from the German channels. And I enjoy that. From him, I started getting links to other channels. And before I knew it, I was subscribed to about 100 UK 00 channels because I just loved their personalities. And then when I started my own channel, I didn't know any American channels. I wasn't watching American channels. I don't know American trains. I know some American companies, but I don't do American trains. I have no knowledge of American trains. That's why I like to watch Randall, because as I've gotten to know people into American trains, like Randall will educate me. Randall sends me pictures and says, this is here. This is what I'm talking about. And I like to learn that stuff.
And the same way with you, Anthony. I know nothing about European trains. And so I kind of rely on like guys like you, Artie, Alan at Dragon Junction, all of those guys, because they're the ones that have the, you guys are the ones that have the knowledge on this stuff. I have none. So, it kind of comes full circle. So,
right. And so, and then I take the next step, which is there's a lot of Americans more than the UK guys and the German guys are into operations. Okay, well, I've got Ray and now Jason, Ray Boble and Jason do operations. Now, would I think of doing operations with my trains? No, I'm not into freight. And somebody thought I was joking about this a couple of weeks ago when I asked it on Sidetrack Sunday, and I wasn't joking. I was trying to be serious. Is obviously operations is really a freight based, and I'm not a freight train guy. I'm a passenger train guy. I'm all about passenger trains. But having said that, I watch these guys doing operations, and because I have curiosity and I like to understand what I'm seeing, I enjoy watching those videos. And it came full circle that I went to my first train show, we talked about this, and I know I've talked about it again, where I had the most fun at a train show I've ever had, because I did it live stream, and a bunch of people came on the stream and were asking me, what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. But they start saying, oh, what's that? Okay, that's Baltimore and Ohio. Oh, I love that. And for the first time, I'm looking at these American models, not with the intent of buying, but looking at them just as the hobby I have and the hobby I'm sharing with people. Wow, here's a bunch of, I don't do N scale, I don't do American, but here's a bunch of N scale Baltimore and Ohio cars. And these are some of the prettiest cars I've ever seen. I'm like, man, if these were German cars, they'd be on my layout today. They're just, wow, they were gorgeous. And I have no temptation to buy, but I suddenly had an appreciation for the styles of these American companies through the past, both the company that made the models, but also what they're modeled on, the original, because I never had an interest in that. I never grew up or cared about that.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good night, buddy.
Well, like those ICE trains you got, man, those things are cool. But
hi, Jim.
My layout's not set up to run stuff like that. And I'm not really what you'd say a passenger train operator. I'm more of the modern freight, big 6-axle engines pulling 50 cars, et cetera, et cetera. So
right.
Don't get me wrong. I love passenger trains, but
no, that's all right.
I'm more kind of lean towards the freight side of it. So
I'm going to hold that against you, Randall. Well, not that not because you're a BNSF follower, but that's about it. But
see, I grew up
you're too far wet stuff. But no, seriously, it's everybody's got their own favorite flavor,
right?
Basically.
Right. And see that's mainly because of the era I grew up in, because I grew up in the 90s when I was a kid, and back in those days it was Burlington Northern, and then eventually it became what's now known as BNSF Railway.
Yeah.
And that's basically how I grew up. I never did see passenger trains when I was younger, except for maybe like a officer special, or if we're going back to 1994 when 1522 came through there with the P Plus and Special, and those were the only quote unquote passenger trains that I've seen in person. So,
but you see, as Anthony was saying, like about there's not much in passenger train operations. Well, some people might think that. I mean, okay, the way I look, the way Anthony does his train operation, it's mainline running. Okay. The trains are made up, they're going along the main line, and there are a lot of mainline models. You don't have to have trains stopping every station. I mean, there's stations up here where the trains just go shooting straight past continuously. There's probably one train every 3 hours. Now, with me, I will be I thought it was raining again. With me, I'm actually adopting and throwing in passenger train operations and switching or whatnot. Why? Well, it's what I grew up around with, especially during the daytime. In Wollongong itself, it actually used to be, they used to make up the passenger trains there. What was prototypical? Anything they can put together to make up a set. When you go up into Sydney into Central with the old loco haul trains, it was the same there as well. And the train will come in, then and engines will unhook, and a little switcher comes on the back, unhooks it. Someone will get taken to the cleaning area where they get washed down and swept out, or someone will go into service, switch the carriages around. Look, Central Station in Sydney used to be a busy place for switching on passenger trains. Nowadays, the only passenger train that does go in there is the Indian Pacific. It was 2 switching moves, now it's 3 switching moves, where they actually break the train up in 3 pieces as it arrives, because it won't fit in the platforms, it's that long. The GAN, when they got to a point where they're doing 4 splits. So now the GAN is actually too long to come into Sydney itself. But I enjoyed it. That's what I like. I'm going to throw in freight trains as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, everybody does what they want and what they like, and we need to accept what they do.
Right.
I mean, like, just because they don't do what you do, that doesn't mean it's no good. Everyone has its own flavour. You know, like this guy here next to me doesn't like Vegemite. I do. The guy next to me doesn't like shrimp. I do. Not too much of it, but I'm not going to say no. You're an asshole because you don't eat shrimp and you don't eat Vegemite.
Actually, I think it's very wonderful that Anthony is so pickerish about what he's eating, because that gives the others like you and I, Artie, the opportunity to get all the good food, and then Anthony can just sit with his beef or whatever.
He just swindle away. I mean, Vegemite is rich in vitamin B, and a lot of people miss out on vitamin B these days. Here it is in the jar.
Well, I'm admittedly not a healthy eater, so I'm not going to say anything about that. So,
Jason, I like all things strange too.
Well, I'm still not a healthy eater, but I have lost 70 pounds over the last 2 years. So
I wish I could lose 70 pounds.
it takes, there's no easy secret. I mean, I just have a healthy fear of death. And a doctor looked at me and said, see your cholesterol and your blood sugar and everything. If you don't change, you're going to have a heart attack within the next 6 months, probably a massive one, and die. And I said, well, okay, maybe I don't want to do that right now. And
wake you up.
When the doctor looks you in the eye and says, you're spiking, which is clear indication. But I am a picky eater. What I'm picky about, I ate way too much of.
Anthony, I'll just let you in on a little secret. The only thing that we know for certain is that at one time we are all going to die. And
but it doesn't have to be today.
No, but we are still here.
Oh, hell no. Come on. Stop throwing my schedule out of whack again, Anthony. You're already thrown out of whack this month.
Hey, look, you aren't allowed to do that until after you visit here. Although apparently that was a secret that I wasn't supposed to give away.
Well, that's right. You throw my schedule right out the window, didn't you? Hold on.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It was your schedule. You gave it to me. I merely announced it. I didn't know it was a secret.
It wasn't set in stone.
You didn't say keep it under my hat, and I've got plenty of hats to keep it under, but you didn't say keep it under my hat.
Here we go. So, Anthony's going to be unplugged again. Yeah. But yeah, we look, we all having fun, and a majority of the group, as I see here, I mean, they come into my channel and through everyone else. We do what? It's funny because the way I look at it, it's something like what we used to have here in Australia, or what we call here in Australia the pub run, right? You start at one pub, then you go to another pub and so forth, We're basically doing exactly the same thing. We're all except for what we do, all our abilities, and we're there for the fun and friendship. Yeah, we're taking mickey out of each other here and there, but it's all in harmless fun. We're all laughing at the end of the day. We don't take anything too serious amongst each other.
Yeah, you do.
That's
true.
me.
Although, again, as I said earlier, we find our niche. We find our clique. We find our clique, and that's who you fit in with.
I'm amazed. Why do Australians have so much? Why do they have to run to the pubs? If we do it in Denmark, we call it a pub crawl.
That's what we call it too.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if they run, they get to more pubs faster.
Pub crawl. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. It's just, it seems like they have something to catch up to, and I basically don't understand it. I would.
Yeah, we start at one pub, then we run amok there. We get kicked out of, so then we go to the one across the road, run amok over there. Most towns got 3-4 pubs, so when we get kicked out of all those pubs, we go to the next town and repeat
until you get arrested.
No, our cops not really that nasty. They just say, "Right, guys, you had enough. Go home."
Okay.
And if we don't go home, that's when we get arrested. But if you're going to start waving fists and whatnot, you get another warning. And they go, right, you got to go home now, or you're going in for the night.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, people take that advice and go home.
That's a nice way to do it.
Yeah. But these young ones, they don't take that advice. They decide they're going to have a fight. So a lot of us oldies and amongst our group, we sort of like gets to 9 o'clock and go home.
But Sean, the thing is, Heath asked for it, and I don't say that like deserves asked for it. He literally asked for it. Heath knows what he's doing. Heath is an evil mastermind, and he started the blame Heath bit. That was not other people. He started that. That was his kitsch. That was his shtick to do, and and people ran with it. His box opening bit. He did that on purpose, and now he does that. You see, every time he does whether it's his online streams or Site Tech Sunday, he drags it out because he knows it gets everybody going. So, it's Heath is a sadist, but it's a subversive sadist. He gets you guys picking at him, but that is because it's his way of getting on you, is getting you picking at him, which is great.
It's like everybody, body keeps the boys. I'm always in trouble with the law and rental cops and that, only because of assistance by someone. But hey, I've had that thing going wrong here in my life anyway. So
no, you went over there, and that wasn't on me. I just helped explain what was going on to the public. I didn't get you into that trouble. You had a rent-a-cop who didn't understand the laws, which you understood, although he didn't know about you violating the no trespassing on the other area. But other than that, don't blame me for that. I merely reported on what was going on between you and the police because you were occupied.
It was pretty close to being accurate, but but it's all part of fun. His ability. Okay, we all make fun of it, but a lot of it, if he is listening in the background there somewhere, he's brilliant in putting things together, especially with his electronics, with his cameras and whatnot. I'm actually quite impressed with what he does, especially in that small room. And make that small little room work for him.
But it's not little for him.
Amazing. Pardon?
I said, but it's not little for him. No.
Yeah, we know that, but But it's incredible how he makes up space to enjoy the hobby in a small room. It goes to show, like, you don't need a huge basement like you, for example, Anthony. You don't need a big, huge basement area like that to have a layout. You can have a small room and have a layout and enjoy yourself in it. Yeah.
Good night, David. No, and
Good night, Dave.
if I were still into model trains and I did not have this basement, I would have done what I could have done where I could do it. I mean, we all understand that. I was just fortunate that when I got into model trains, my kids had moved out. The basement was actually, I had my library of hundreds and hundreds of books here, and there was a TV and an entertainment system. But this was my children's playroom. My children grew up and left, and the basement wasn't being used. And so when I got that train, and Joyce said, why don't you build something to run it on here at home? So I built a little table, and anybody that goes to my channel can see the old original table and how it got bigger, bigger, bigger. And then one day Joyce said, why don't you just take the basement? You know, and who's going to say no? What model train person is going to be offered a whole basement and not take it?
Yeah, well, so this is where I got the sore point with my shithead brother. I had my designated train room and he commandeered it to do it, mate, have it as his computer room. He took over my office to make it turn into his server room. My music room, he turned it into another server room. And then he wanted to take over my bedroom. And I go, right, that's it. Bedroom, no. You're not taking my bedroom. That's the last straw. That's the end. No. But, yeah, you're going to get offered a basement by a partner. If you had a partner, you go, yeah, go for it. When I moved into this house, I've gone,
yes, I love slot cars.
Yeah, I didn't mind them, but I was more into trains. I was around to have a choice of the slot cars or trains. I stuck with trains. And, well, basically, my stepdad, he bought me the train set, so he's to blame for it. But when I moved into this house here, the first thing I did was measure the rooms. I'll take the biggest room to do my layout in, which was this one. The other one, well, I live on my own. I don't need a big bedroom. It's only a bed to go to sleep in. Now, the landlord is actually building a new granny flat just to my left. And because it's going to be at the end in the corner, I thought, oh, beauty, I'll just move from here over to there. But I've got the tape measures out. And it's like the rooms are going to be smaller than here. Like the main bedrooms are as big as my main bedroom now. And the other room's going to be smaller than what I have. It's going to be half the size. So I said no. Yeah.
JD, since you brought that comment up about the slot car tracks, I don't know if you've been to Memphis, but some of you guys may have heard me talk about this hobby shop down there.
I'll be back in a minute, guys.
Called Mid-South Hobby and Games. They have a couple of slot car tracks there, and these are massive, massive tracks that they've got set up, and they'll run their cars around. It's really, really cool. I think I did a video of one of them. I can't remember if this was at their current location or if it was at the old store. I want to say it's probably back when they had the old store, but this current store they have, I think they've got two big setups now, and it's really impressive. And they'll have cars racing. Man, they will just fly around there. But yeah, JD, if you ever get a chance to get down there towards Memphis, you can check that place out.
And remember, people, if you'd like us to continue such amazing broadcasting, please, operators are standing by. Call the number below and make a donation.
Yeah, I'm going to need some I'm
That's
going to
right.
need some bail money when I get over there, I think. It's all right. I'll just hear noises at the front again. What was I going to say? Randall, how
Yes.
often do you get into How often do you get into Memphis?
Well, I get there pretty often. However, I don't get a chance to go to the hobby shop that often.
Nah,
Because here recently, just about every time I go down there, they send me to go to the railroad yard and bring a crew back to Thayer's. So actually, I go to the railroad yard more than I go to the hobby shop down there. So
actually, I'm going to give you a mission, and it's got nothing to do with trains. It's actually to do with trams, trolley cars. Apparently, there's supposed to be a couple of Melbourne trams, trolleys in Memphis that we were shipped over to there. Have a look around to see if it's still there, or ask about see if they are still there.
all right.
Because I'm looking and hunting them down over the United States. I want to see what they've done with them. Because
All right.
maybe later in this year or next year, I want to go over there and take a bit of a look.
Artie, are you into trams as well?
Not that much. The old ones, yes. The new ones,
It was just that one day you commented on one of my Facebook postings about the trolley museum in Denmark, and you asked about if we had a Melbourne trolley there, and I can confirm that we have it.
yeah,
and we just use it to run it.
yeah. Because I know we went over there because when I had my own trucks down in Melbourne and whatnot, we actually transport them down to the wharf. So they have them exported.
And you said these. I was just sorry. And you said these Australians come from these trolleys come from Australia, Artie?
Yes, they came from Melbourne.
Melbourne.
From Melbourne, yeah. They're the old wooden. They're old wooden trolleys, wooden metal. They were originally they're meant to be green and gold, or green yellow.
Okay.
I know I know there was about 14 or 15 of them went to the US. So I went to Memphis. I went to New Orleans. There's some in Dallas, I believe. Dallas or Houston, one of them two. And there are also some in San Francisco, but I didn't see the ones in San Francisco.
There's one place I really want them to send me back to because I want to try to get a photograph of this thing. There's a yard called Harvard Yard. However, half of that yard is actually what's known as Soco Yard, and there's a car repair facility there. And the switcher that they use is a GP7U.
Yeah.
It's still in Santa Fe colors. I've seen this engine a couple of times. I've only seen it operating once. But I would really like to get back there sometime and get a photograph of that engine, hopefully if it's still there. But this thing is rough if you ever see it. It's you literally can't even read the Santa Fe on one side of it. But it's in pretty rough shape, but the thing still runs and it's still switching cars there, which is pretty neat considering that a Class 1 railroad is still owning an engine from the early 50s. So, and it's still in operation. So
We still.
Was you asking what kind of?
We still got engines here running from the 1950s. There is a series I started on Outback Trains on Australian Trains here at the moment, and we've got the old B class, which B classes. Now let me go and show you a picture what they look like. Let me just change my view. That's something I want.
It's just kind of odd. Well, I shouldn't say odd. It's kind of interesting and neat that here BNSF has gotten rid of all the SD9s that they've had, and a lot of the older car that they've from the 60s and 70s. And here's this little GT7U just hanging on for dear life.
That's cool.
Beat all the pieces. So that's cool, Artie.
That's a cool looking thing.
That's,
Locomotive.
yeah, that's a B unit. That's not in its original colours. But these ones were made down in Melbourne, where all they had to do is run the train around the engine, locomotive around the passenger train or the freight train without needing the same.
You're coming over here.
And there's still a number of these.
Whatever floats your boat.
They came out in the early 50s, and there's still a few of these about. We still have
Your finger poke.
the other ones where basically just one-ended,
Fractal.
very similar to your E9s,
Yeah.
right? It's basically it's got the same engine as an E unit,
Yeah.
but they just compressed it. And
Hey, you know, I was always curious. I always wonder why they never tried that here in the States with the cab on each end, because you wouldn't have to turn the engines around or anything. You could just move it around to the other end. The guy would get in on the other side, and away you go.
well, I can tell you the reason why they didn't go that way is because two reasons. One, Americans always like things bigger. And secondly, they weren't as lazy as what some of the Australians were. As we said at the beginning of the show, the lazy people are the best inventors. Huh?
So sorry, it was a comment. I think Joyce. Hello, Joyce.
Hi, boss. Joyce.
Hi, Artie. Hi, Randall.
Good.
Hi, everybody in there. Hi, Jason. Hi, Roy.
But we still got a lot of train engines that still run, especially now during the wheat season. I'm going to get out now that it's clearing up. I'm going to go out and get some shots of some of the old engines that are coming down the mountain still from 50s, 60s, 70s. They just brought them out. And then we also got that those Danish diesels that Richard showed last week.
The old M sets from Denmark, the no hubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they run out on Melbourne, on the Melbourne side of Australia, doesn't they? They don't.
They're running them. The company that's bought them, they're actually running the steel trains out of Port Kembla here, just around the corner from my place now.
Okay.
And they're using them for doing switching.
Yeah.
They're using them during the wheat season. I mean, now that the grain season, what's left, that hasn't been destroyed. I mean, we're going from grain and cotton season. Now's the most busiest time for them. So they brought out a lot of things out of storage. How much wheat and cotton did we lose? I don't know. I haven't heard yet, so it'd be interesting to see how much has been lost and how much has been harvested, because they got a fair bit of rain out that way too, but not as much as we have on the East Coast. Most of it's been basically on the East Coast here. Hopefully, it's coming to the end.
That Arkansas Missouri scheme is really, really nice, especially with the brass bell they put on the new Ace engines. Really makes them stand.
Well, I'd really like to go up and see. Well, we're not going to be too far from Harper's Ferry, so I'm going to be spending. I'm going to go up to Harper's Ferry a bit. That looks like a good little photo spot there, and I already eyed a couple of spots there, and I see the reading steam engines up and about as well. Well, the 484. So on my way back from West Virginia back to Boston, I actually would like to go in and have a look at it. No, it's not me. Not me this time, Anthony. Matt and Nancy. I'm not even going there.
It's
I
loud,
I'd like to go and see that and get a few shots inside. What do you call it? I've got 4 of them. Yes, Shane. We actually, Australia is actually one of the biggest dry cotton producers in the world. What they call dry cotton is they irrigate the ground once and they just let it grow. It's not irrigated cotton. There's a difference between irrigated cotton and dry cotton. My state up in the top corner, you can say a good quarter of the state now grows dry cotton. As I said, they just flood the plain out, let it germinate, and just let Mother Nature take its course. And the season goes, the harvest season on a good season will go roughly about 6 months. We're one of the top 4 grain producers in the world. After US and Canada. But mind you, when we had the big droughts before the bushfires hit, we were actually had to bring our wheat from Canada. That's a nice engine, that.
Yeah. So this right here, this is what's this is one of the BNSF 25th anniversary locomotives. They did the sticker engines, and basically what it is, and I'll kind of get it up close to the camera where you can see it. They basically put stickers of all the previous roads that make up what's now BNSF. Of course, you got your Burlington Northern and your Santa Fe stickers right there. You got the CB&Q. You got Frisco, Northern Pacific, Great Northern. And I think there's more they put on there. Colorado and Southern. So, but this is number 6078, and I have seen this engine a couple of times. And what makes it so unique, each one of these ES44s are pretty unique in their own right, because there's little differences to them to each unit. But this one here has a 3-chime air horn on it, which most of them would have the 5-chime K5s on them. But ironically, this one here has a 3-chime Nathan on it, which makes it kind of unique in its own self. And of course, they do things like the grill areas are a little different on them. And there's some other little subtle differences too, but they're pretty neat engines. And a lot of people kind of frown when they did this because they weren't true heritage engines where they were repainted to the paint schemes of the previous roads. And I can understand that, but at least they did something to kind of acknowledge that they've been around for 25 years. So, but Scale Trains did a pretty good job on them. These two look really, really good, but I did discover an issue with 6111 with its handrails being warped. To me, that's not a huge deal because that's a problem that's kind of across the board with locomotives that use plastic handrails on them, so
Right.
where they get warped and whatnot. But it's still a very, very pretty engine. In fact, I'll give you guys kind of a sneak peek of the actual model.
Well, my
Here.
stepbrother in he's not actually my stepbrother as such, but we call each other brother. You know what I'm talking about. He works down up the line at Prince, West Virginia for Amtrak/CSX, and he's taken a few photos of her when she's actually gone through there.
I'll kind of take the protector off here where you can kind of see the actual. And 61 or 6078's got kind of a little bit of an issue with its handrail too, but it's not as bad as 6111.
Yeah.
I'll always kind of show you the overall view of it. So there's the actual model.
But you'd save that for AJ coming up.
They're a nice engine. I've seen some of the guys in the club. They got some of the Scale Trains engines. They're very nice, but they're just a little bit.
They really are already. And like I said, if it wasn't for the wavy handrails, this thing would be perfect. I mean, and it's just on this one side on this engine, so the other side looks really good. So,
you know, it's a shame that they didn't do what they did here, like in my state here in New South Wales. When we had the bicentenary, see stuff like that, they should have not just on one engine. They should actually have them on multiple engines so people can actually see where they came from.
there was actually 10 of these done. I've seen half of them. I've seen this one, 6111, 5872, which, by the way, that engine is coming. I ordered that one as well. Let's see, 6163. I think there's another one, 5828. It was also one of the sticker units, and I've seen that one. And 6022. So those are the ones that I've seen so far.
Yeah. Well, when we had our bicentenary here, we actually had a colour scheme with some of our trains here. And what they did was they painted every locomotive in a bicentenary scheme. Some of the classes had two painted up, depending on the regions where they went to, and they were actually quite neat. We're talking about Hooters again. Yeah, I'm going to delay my Hooters University till later. But see, all the railroads, all these big major Class 1 railroads should do something like that.
I don't know if they hear it or not.
Here's what I mentioned right here. What makes it unique is that it's 3-time air horn. Most all the other Gevos have I believe it's a K5HL air horn. But
yeah,
I kind of went with these road numbers because they're a little more unique. They're not kind of your run-of-the-mill ES44 where they all look the same and whatnot. So, and also the exhaust stack's a little different on it too. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
You see, I'll show you the colour scheme that we had in my state in New South Wales. Now let me get myself into my bigger screen. I'm not like some people. That's the bicentennial scheme. Now, out of this class itself, this is the 48 class.
It is cool.
Yeah. You know how you guys had the bicentennial train in 1776 in the US? Every railroad had had pretty much their own independence colour scheme.
Right.
Well, when we had our bicentenary in 1988, every state went to a bicentenary livery, but we had the most engines painted up, and they were painted up in this same scheme. This one was the only one of its class that actually had this one. The 81 class diesels, which is based on the SD40s, they had two of them. 86 class, they had two of them as well in that color scheme. We ended up having what? Now I'm just trying to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different classes of engines at the time, and they all wore the same color scheme, and they were seen throughout the whole state. And the big ones, they went over the border into, say, Melbourne, into Victoria. They got to see them as well.
But
yeah, we see, we didn't have brake vans at that time. Yeah, I've seen those cabooses too, Jason. But we'd done away with them by then. It was a shame that we didn't see any passenger trains painted up in that color scheme. Bighorn sheep. I do not know. What is it, Thomas? I hate to ask. I shouldn't have asked that question.
Indeed.
Shame on me.
No, shame on Thomas for even trying to come up with it.
Yeah, well, lucky it's an adults only program, so we can say whatever we want. Hang on, I didn't change it, but I'll change it later. But yeah,
What? Wait, what? We can't edit the bad bits out?
What bad bits?
If we edit the bad bits out, we'd be down to a 10-minute video.
He is talking about me now. I'm going to leave now because it's 4:15 in the morning. So
you've got to stop staying up late.
Yeah,
but we like having you here, John.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you very much again,
Yeah.
Jean
Right.
Ricard. Yeah, I really
Bye.
appreciate
Bye.
you being here on the chat.
Good night, John.
Out he goes. Perfect.
Out he goes.
He's a great chap. He's a great chap. I'm gonna have to get going soon too. Anyway, but he's a great bloke. I like him.
That's why she's here.
Yeah. Don't stay.
This
so
is
late
her,
this week.
honey, it's bedtime.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So what are you still doing here, Matt?
Waiting for Daisy.
Daisy's called over. Yeah, we still got a lot of old stuff running around here. I know they're supposed to be doing track work this weekend, but now that it's the weather pattern looks like it's going to clear up for the week. So next, hey Scott, so next Sunday I will be attempting to go out and about again, with my live stream. Where I'm going to go, nobody knows. Neither do I. Neither does my car. But I will be going out and about somewhere. I'll probably start going up north, or depending on what they're doing at my they're doing a lot of work at my old station, so I might end up going there and stream from that station and watch the guys work, because I believe they'll be pumping concrete soon, and they cancelled it this weekend. So I'd be interested to see how they pump the concrete. There's a new machine down there to put the concrete onto the island platform. So it's going to be interesting. I think it'll be interesting for everybody to have a look. I'm not going up the northern suburbs at the moment because they're still cleaning up there, because they had they got flooded out there on Wednesday, I think it was. Wednesday, Thursday, they got flooded out there with a big mess. So I'm keeping away from there, letting them clean up.
Yeah, we're supposed to have more rain next week.
You better get that hat off her because now she's starting to look like that policewoman that arrested me and took me home to her and took me home to her place. I did not go to jail.
Then it should be a happy memory.
It was. It was. It was a happy memory. She was in a place called Moree, and everyone nicknamed her Miss Piggy. She wasn't a bad looker either, and I got pulled over by her on purpose one time, and I was on purposely doing the wrong thing, and it's like, well, I just want to see who you were, and one thing led to another. Anyway, I'm only having a go. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm going to try to do next week.
Cool.
I'm going to go up to the Yindera station and we'll sit down there for an hour and have a look at the progress. I'd like to thank everybody for joining my stream again. I know I've gone, 2 hours again.
After last week, what's 2 hours?
Yeah.
That's when you're having fun, Artie.
Well, we are having fun. And I even had trains running and even had 2 train crashes during my broadcast.
Oh, no.
I mean, I've been taking lessons from CSX. Look, they're still in the pit. In the turntable pit, of all places.
That's the railroad way, Artie.
Well, you got to wait for the crew to get there and figure out how to get it out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be in so that's where I'm buggered because they're all on strike at the moment. They all want a pay rise. So, I mean, those poor sheep. I mean, it looks like I know I'm going to have some lamb chops for tea tonight.
For tea.
So anyway, seriously, guys, thank you again. Thank you for coming, Anthony.
Thanks, Artie.
George, as well.
Your pleasure.
Randall, you too.
Yep, thanks, sir.
Nice to see everybody.
I will try. I'll see. Now I've got something better for you, Jason. They're a lot worse than a didgeridoo. Okay, I just got to go and get it, and I'll bring them over to you. Okay, didgeridoo. I don't think I'm gonna have enough room in my bag because my bag's going to be over full as it is. I mean, I've got to try to smuggle 12 blondes in there.
He's gonna bring over a didgeridoo, which is a whole lot worse.
There you go again. You're giving away my secret. Anyway,
yeah, I'm just trying to
everyone
recover
take
from
care.
you admitting that you like old Australian trans, but you know.
Yeah.
I just hope you have not started something in there, Anthony, because if you have, oh God, you look out. It's a small world. Don't ever forget that. It's a very small world.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Oh, it's big enough.
Oh, not big enough. Trust me. Hey, big enough. You never know who you're going to bump into. So anyway, people, enjoy it. I know you guys have still got your weekend there. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Take care of your loved ones and see you guys through the week.
Take care of yourself, Artie.
Yep.
And
take care, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye, Tom.
Bye.